My name is Nancy, and there's a vast world out there that I've only caught glimpses of. As a child, I saw it on TV, majestic wildlife, stunning landscapes, and people speaking in languages foreign to my ears. The desire to experience it firsthand grew stronger as I got older, and by the time I reached college, I took the leap and studied abroad. In that distant country, I found the world I had always dreamed about. Even though I faced a language barrier, I encountered vibrant communities, unique animals, and breathtaking scenery. That experience ignited a passion in me to help others discover the wonders of travel. After graduating, I landed a job at a travel agency, where I planned tours, drawing on my time abroad to handle everything from site inspections to negotiations. It was a demanding job, but I managed to balance my career and personal life well. During this time, I married Daniel, a colleague from work, and life settled into a good rhythm until issues with my mother-in-law, Barbara, began to surface. As a traditional homemaker, Barbara believed that women should stop working after marriage. I respected her opinion but felt it was outdated. When I voiced my thoughts, she shot back, "Isn't a woman's duty to support her husband? Do you have a problem with that?" Though I disagreed, Barbara and I never saw eye to eye. To avoid tension, Daniel and I decided to buy a house and move out. He was on board immediately, and soon enough, we had our own place, but Barbara started visiting more frequently, always creating noise and tension with Daniel during her stays. She hardly cared for her own husband, Anthony, which I found hypocritical, but I bit my tongue, unwilling to spark a fight. One weekend, amidst her usual disruptive chatter, Barbara mentioned something out of the blue. "I'm going on a trip next week, you should be careful." "Wait, what do you mean?" I asked, confused. "Nancy, you're coming too," she said, matter-of-factly. "But that's so last minute," I protested. "I have work." "It's a family trip, don't you consider in-laws family?" she snapped. "That's not what I meant," I replied, taken aback. "Then make it happen," she said flatly. Despite my hesitation, Barbara took it upon herself to book the hotel. Her condescending tone returned as she added, "Oh, I forgot to mention, it's London. You're always bragging about your job at the travel agency, aren't you?" "I wasn't bragging," I said defensively. "So you should have no problem handling this," she pressed. Reluctantly, I gave in. London wasn't as daunting as some other destinations I'd worked with, and I figured my old contacts from my study abroad days could help smooth things over. "Fine, I'll make it work. I already have the plane ticket, so just handle the hotel." "Oh, I took care of the flights," Barbara added with a smug grin. "I used my miles to upgrade us to first class." Her excitement was palpable, and I couldn't help but notice the piles of high-end shopping bags stacked on the sofa. "First class?" Daniel chimed in, his eyebrows raised. "Yep, it's going to be a first-class trip," Barbara said, pleased with herself. "We leave at 9:30 p.m., so you can work until the last minute." Her insistence left me with no choice but to ensure everything else went smoothly. The hotel situation was trickier, given the short notice, but I tapped into my old network and secured 2 rooms for 4 people. My contact, thankfully, was able to pull some strings. The day of the trip arrived, and I couldn't take the day off due to the abruptness of it all. Barbara insisted we meet at the airport by 6 p.m., which I thought I could manage after wrapping up work. But then, just as I was starting to get into a groove, my phone buzzed. It was Barbara. "Hello, Barbara. Nancy, are you finished with work?" she asked, her voice laced with fake concern. "I'm just leaving the office now. I should be at the airport after 6 p.m. "Oh, that's too bad," Barbara replied, almost too casually. "What do you mean, too bad?" I asked, feeling a sudden unease. "Well, we're actually leaving at 6 p.m., she said, barely suppressing a smirk. "No way." I rushed back to my desk, frantically pulling up the flight schedule on my computer. Sure enough, there was a 9:30 p.m. flight to London, but there was also a flight departing right after 6 p.m. "Are you on this flight?" I asked, my voice rising. "Yes, so the family is going without you," Barbara confirmed, her words twisting like a knife. "If you leave me behind, what about Anthony? And weren't you supposed to be too sick to travel?" My anger surged, realizing how calculated this all was. She had planned everything meticulously, just to exclude me, but I couldn't let her see how much it stung. Swallowing my frustration, I forced myself to sound calm. "I'm the one who booked the hotel. Daniel knows the name. You can't do anything without that." Barbara's laugh echoed through the phone, mocking me. "Go ahead, skip the trip. We'll be fine without you." "That's fine with me," I said coolly. "We don't need a useless wife like you anyway." "Useless?" I asked, my grip tightening on the phone. "What exactly do you mean by that?" "You neglect your duties at home for work. Daniel's been complaining about it," Barbara said, her words sharp and cutting. I was stunned. Sure, I had a demanding job, but I never neglected the house. Why would Daniel say that? "Can I speak to him?" Barbara handed the phone over, and Daniel's voice came through, indifferent. "Hey, Nancy, what's up? What's this about you complaining that I neglect you?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. You're always working, you never have time for me, he said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Neglect? I cook, clean, do laundry, everything. You think you do it all yourself? That's not it, he muttered, already on the defensive. I deserve more respect than this, Daniel. I support you, but I'm not just your servant. I've never spoken badly about you, even when you don't pull your weight. When it's just us, we should be honest, not tear each other down. Daniel sighed. You think you're better than me because you earn more? I stared at the phone in disbelief. That's not what this is about. Well, it bothers me. You're always working. It's like I don't matter. Seriously? You're ditching me because of that? It's not like that, he said, but the irritation in his voice was clear. You know what? Fine, go on the trip, enjoy it, I've got my own plans. Good, we will, Daniel said before hanging up. I stood there, seething. Barbara had managed to pit Daniel against me, and now they were leaving me behind, thinking they'd won, but I wasn't going to let them have the last word. Picking up my phone, I dialed another number. Hey, it's Nancy, I need to talk about that hotel booking. I cancelled everything. If they thought they could just leave me behind and sail through the trip, they had another thing coming. The next day, after a long, exhausting day of work, I collapsed onto the couch at home. The phone rang, and I already knew who it was. Hello? Nancy, what were you thinking? Barbara's voice was furious, but I could hear a hint of panic underneath. Barbara, how's the trip? Enjoying it? I asked, feigning innocence. This isn't funny, we can't check into the hotel. Did you cancel the reservation? Oh, right, I said casually. I cancelled it because I'm not going. What? Where are we supposed to stay now? Barbara's panic was real, and I couldn't help but smile. I don't know, Barbara, that's not really my problem, is it? Her angry tirade continued, but I barely listened. I wasn't scared of her now, not with her so far away. It's tough being abroad without a place to stay, isn't it? London's not the safest place when you're stranded. Wait, help me, Barbara's voice turned desperate. In the background, I heard Daniel's voice. There's a cancelled room. Anthony's trying to negotiate to get it. Is that right, Daniel? I asked, still calm. Yeah, looks like we'll be okay, he said. Barbara's triumphant voice returned. You see, Nancy, your little plan didn't work. We've got a room. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Barbara, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Enjoy your stay. I hung up the phone, a smile spreading across my face. The room they got was just a temporary fix, but it didn't matter. Barbara had been rattled, and that small victory was enough for me. They thought they'd won, but I knew better. This was only the beginning. I had just cancelled my plans, putting on a brave face as I did. How pathetic, I thought, just a typical reaction from Daniel's useless wife. Barbara's laughter rang loudly in my ears as she rambled on about the breathtaking scenery and exquisite food they were enjoying. I was tired of her bragging, so I quietly hung up, satisfied that she probably didn't even notice. A small smile crept onto my face at the thought. Just a few more days to endure, I reminded myself as I braced for dinner. A few days later, while heading to the station, Barbara called again. Hello, what's going on? I answered, my patience wearing thin. Nancy, what's the issue now? Not again. What's wrong with this hotel? She exclaimed, sounding frantic. What are you talking about? I replied, genuinely confused. Barbara explained that thanks to Anthony's negotiations, they ended up in the room I had cancelled. They were supposed to stay for 4 days and check out today, but now they were being billed £8,000. So what's the problem? It's £2,000 per night, right? That's about $2,500 a night, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Ridiculous, that's for 2 rooms, right? So about $12,000 total. You told Daniel it was $300 per room per night. Yes, I did, so it should be $600 for 2 rooms. Why is it 4 times more? I was taken aback by their apparent lack of attention to the rates, but honestly, I had set this up perfectly. Barbara's voice grew louder as she made a scene, clearly agitating those around her. I stifled a laugh, relishing my small victory. Hey, Nancy, are you even listening? She yelled. Barbara, can you keep it down? Why did you lie? She was excellent at casting blame without reflecting on herself. Exasperated, I began to explain. The $300 rate was because I made the reservation. Huh? Since it was last minute, I called in a favor from a friend who runs a hotel. A friend of yours? She asked, skepticism dripping from her voice. Yes, their hotel offers rooms for about $600 for 2 people. Then why is it $11,200? She pressed. That's the rate for a really nice room. My friend helped me out, I replied, maintaining my calm. A favor? Correct, there were no vacancies, so they arranged a nicer room for you. So, is this the normal price? Barbara sounded flustered now. When I heard you were rushing into this trip, I told my friend I needed any available room. The only vacancy was an expensive suite, but my friend kindly gave a discount. I figured that since you heard about the hotel from Daniel, you wouldn't bother checking the price, and I was right. Come on, you should have told me that, Barbara yelled. Yelling won't change anything, you still have to pay. We're not paying, Nancy, you pay. But if you don't pay, you could get arrested. Arrested? Of course, troubles abroad can get messy. Are you okay with that? Barbara seemed at a loss for words. Just as I was about to hang up, she shouted, "Don't mess with me, you'll regret this when I get back." That's fine, but we're strangers now, right? Huh? What do you mean? Well, you said it was a family trip, so since I'm not there, I'm not family, right? That's different. Before she could finish, Anthony's voice came over the line. What's all this yelling about? Keep it down, it's embarrassing. Anthony seized the opportunity to step in. I called out to him, and he responded, Nancy, are you okay? How's your cold? I never had a cold. Give me that. It seemed Anthony had taken the phone from Barbara. His voice grew louder. Nancy, can you explain everything? I can, actually. I recounted everything from the beginning, watching his demeanor shift as I spoke. I see, so that's why you didn't come. I'm sorry, I wanted to go, he said, sounding sincere. No, Nancy, you're not at fault, it's Barbara and Daniel, he added. From afar, I heard a whimper. Barbara and Daniel seemed frightened by Anthony's anger. Realizing this, an idea sparked in my mind. Should I tell Anthony what Barbara had been up to? Anthony, can I tell you something? I asked. What is it? Barbara comes over almost every weekend and throws away receipts at our place. There are piles of them. What? Receipts for what? He asked, clearly confused. Branded goods. It's fine to buy them, but please get rid of the receipts at your own house, I said innocently. Barbara wasn't just noisy. She was secretly buying expensive items and disposing of the evidence at our place, hoping Anthony wouldn't find out. It seemed he had no idea. That's interesting to hear. Also, please tell her to stop badmouthing you when she's at our place. She talks about me too? Yes. She says you don't earn much. Daniel also calls you useless. I quickly caught myself. Is there anything else? With that prompt, I poured out all my pent-up frustrations to Anthony. Some of it may not have directly involved him, but he listened patiently. By the end of it, he looked remorseful. I'm sorry. Now I understand. Understand what? I asked, curious. Why Barbara didn't want to use her card to pay for the hotel. It's probably because the cost was way higher than she expected, close to her credit limit. I'm sorry, Barbara's voice piped in from the background. Your wasteful spending is unforgivable, Barbara. I want a divorce. Please don't do that, she pleaded, her voice trembling. Anthony's furious response followed. Barbara, why didn't you defend yourself? Don't come to my house again. You need to reflect on this alone. Yes, sir, Daniel replied, sounding unusually submissive, probably realizing that being banished from his parents' house wouldn't be the end of the world. That's when I struck my final blow. So, Daniel, it looks like you're going to be living alone now, huh? What do you mean? His voice rose sharply, clearly startled. I could tell he had grabbed the phone. Daniel, I want a divorce, I stated firmly. A divorce? You're joking, right? No, I'm serious. I've already sold the house. You sold it? Why would you do that without telling me? That's our house. No, it's my house. But I was paying the mortgage too. No, you weren't. What do you mean? I was giving you part of my salary every month. That was for living expenses. A few hundred isn't enough to cover the mortgage. Daniel had been contributing a few $100s each month, which helped with daily expenses but didn't touch the mortgage at all. I had been paying it by myself. The house was in my name, so he had no grounds to complain. This entire situation solidified my decision to divorce Daniel. I sold the house, leaving behind all the unpleasant memories of our life together. So, you'll be living alone now. Wait, think it over. No, it's already decided. I'll reach out once I find a new place. Then I'll send you the official notice. Official notice? Of course. I'll be claiming compensation in the divorce. Wait for me. I could hear Daniel's desperate cries on the other end, but I didn't feel the slightest bit of sympathy. I hung up the phone. In the following weeks, Daniel and I finalized the divorce. To my surprise, Anthony also divorced Barbara. Because of her reckless spending, Barbara received no compensation and was left to fend for herself. Daniel, nearly broke from his extravagances, now lived in a rundown apartment and commuted to work. In a strange twist, things might have been easier for him than for Barbara. With no house or money, and Daniel's small apartment too cramped, Barbara had to take a live-in job, working tirelessly from dawn until dusk. As for me? I'm thriving. Being single has given me more free time and the freedom to manage overseas negotiations. I've become a reliable figure at work, and I've even heard whispers of a promotion to department head. Today, I'm busy flying around the globe, planning exciting new tour packages.